Welcome to the Digital Marketing Insights podcast, brought to you by Brightside Digital.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm delighted to say today we have Jason with us, who's a freelance digital marketing specialist. Jace, how you doing?
Hi Tom, nice to meet you. Thanks for having me on.
You're very welcome. Jason, we always start the show the same. Could you tell our audience a little bit about yourself, please?
Yeah, for sure. So look, I got into digital marketing, a kind of unorthodox route really. I was originally a content creator, so I wanted to be an entertainer, specifically on YouTube. And I was making videos. I was doing this outside of college. I did a law and media bachelor's degree in DCU, but I was getting no practical experience. It was more theoretical media. And I decided, you know what, I need to go out there and start doing different stuff to learn how to use softwares and stuff of that nature and get more comfortable in front of a camera. So I started looking outside the college. And now I worked in the societies in DCU, and the society, Media Production Society in DCU is very well known, and a lot of very talented people in there who would always be willing to give you a helping hand. But for me, I thought it'd be best maybe if I invest in some outside education. So, for example, I worked with the Park Studio, and they're not in operation anymore, I don't think. But you're basically getting RT level training. And I said, you know, after that, I had such a great experience with that and I enjoyed it so much. We learned how to script content, we learned how to just everything when it comes to content creation. I decided to make my own YouTube channel then following that. And I was making, you know, the editing and stuff, anybody can do that. Obviously, the writing, you have to be a little bit creative and stuff of that nature. But I was finding that I wasn't achieving a high level of exposure on the videos I was creating. I was like, what am I doing wrong here? And to be honest with you, I looked at other videos and I just couldn't identify what other people were doing that was being successful and why it wasn't working for me. So this actually all came about then when I went to America. I actually went to California on a J1 for about 4 months, and I got to work with creators out there. One being Mike Live, who worked in Dash Radio. He had his own show, which is really really good. You should follow Mike Live. If I have that, he won't be happy that I don't have his handle, but I'm sure if Tom shares it, I can drop a little link below. Sorry, Mike, but
Yeah.
I recorded an interview with Mike. He recorded artists in LA, one of them being Hassan, another guy who was very, very talented. And we actually did it in Dame Dash's studio. And for people who aren't familiar with Dame Dash, he actually went into business with Jay-Z on Rockefeller, who would have discovered Kanye West. And now it's important to know I was doing the interview for Mike Live. I wasn't in any way affiliated with Dame Dash. I'm not saying that, but it was in his studio. I met Dame Dash briefly, but it was a great experience, and I got to work with different artists like that. But along the way, I found right in terms of content creation. I kind of know what I'm at there in that field. Now, obviously, there's always room for improvement, but I felt very confident in my abilities. But still, Tom, I was coming across the same issue that I'm not receiving the exposure. I'm not getting that return on investment that I want based on the hours I was putting into editing. So I started learning about digital marketing over there. And then COVID hit, and we were all affected by COVID, and I found myself back in Kildare. So that was a drastic change from Hollywood to Kildare, and I was very happy to come home because I kind of got to build myself back up again. In terms of content creation, I started releasing, I call it a season because it must have been about 12 to 15 videos I released over those few months, because the work sector, as Tom, I'm sure you know as well, was completely destroyed at that point. And I was very lucky to get into a job in a local garage I work in now. And with that, I was able to work on my own content channel. And I was actually learning about SEO, and I applied that to the videos that I was making, and I saw a crazy return on investment. I got between 5 to 6,000 views on one of the videos I created on YouTube, which I was very happy with. And on TikTok, I created, now not, it wasn't of me in it, but it was like a little spoof actually of Viper Higgins from the Hardy Books. And that video received between 50 to 60,000 50 to 60,000 views. So I was like, oh my god, I was doing this all wrong. Obviously, the quality of the video is very important, but you need to make sure it's SEO optimized to the highest possible degree to reach the most amount of people possible. And after I received those return on investments, and because of COVID, I decided, you know what, now it's time to get back into education. Because I had a law and media degree in DCU, but I wanted to have a master's degree that was a little bit more specialised, obviously. So Dublin Business School came about, and I am just finishing up now my master's degree in digital marketing with them. So I've been able now to work with some clients locally to help them build their brands. Which what brings me to you now, Tom, because I spend a lot of time on LinkedIn. I think it's a fantastic platform for networking. I actually invest in LinkedIn Premium. I said, why not?
Yeah.
And that's what brings me here today, Tom, to talk with you on this podcast. And I'm very happy to see how well you're doing.
Thank you. Yeah, and I suppose the natural thing with your career to date, probably the main question to ask you, Jason, is what have you, what do you see as your main strength in digital now?
My main strength, I think, is developing an organic audience. Obviously, paid, you can't put a price on paid advertising when it comes to online. It just makes your life 10 times easier. And that's something I'm doing with my own clients now, Tom, that I'm helping them develop a marketing fund, because I think it's very important to invest in your digital marketing strategy. But you can go a long way organically too. Like the videos I did on YouTube and TikTok were completely organic. There was no paid mechanism involved. So I think people need to have an emphasis, first of all, on making whatever content they create clickable. So if you're creating a video on YouTube, for example, advice I give to everybody is there's a difference between self-service content and service content. So for a lot of years, I would have created self-service content where I would have been creating content that I would have thought is good, but I wasn't looking at the bigger picture, which is what are people looking for? I should be looking to provide a service here, if that makes sense. So I would look
Yeah.
at, for example, keywordseverywhere.com is a fantastic platform for digital marketing. I don't know if you've heard of it. A lot of people haven't, but you're able to find searches on YouTube or Google, whatever search engine you're using, with a high volume, and then you're able to find a niche within that search, which gives you an increased chance of ranking highly. So that's one thing you can do, because you're showing up higher on searches. And when I say clickable, obviously the title can then be altered to fit that search, along with a high quality thumbnail, which is very easy to do as well. You can do on your phone. Graphic designs can be very easy to make on your phone. You don't need to go on a computer and use Photoshop anymore to create these images, where in the past you would have. So organically, using those tools, I was able to create um, a great little digital marketing strategy for my own YouTube channel. And this is something now I'm trying to instill into my clients, that it doesn't matter what platform you're on, you need to make sure you're providing a service to people, because we're all selfish by nature, Tom, of course. Like I'm sure if you find, like I have relations who tag me in posts for competitions online for candles. Now I don't want the candle. No need for candles, but it's the fact that it's free. You're providing a service to people because you're giving people something for free, and they're going to tag people they know in it, and that gets more exposure on your brand. So it's funny the age we're in now, but I think there's loads of ways you can develop organic exposure to your channel, and I think that's very, very important.
Yeah, and you've hit on some really good points there. Is there any particular areas you're looking yourself at now in upskilling? Is it that kind of SEO research for video and for different types of content?
Well, like, funny Tom, I'll give you a story. When I went into digital marketing, DBS, I didn't want to do any videos at all. Now I didn't mind doing the odd one, but I was like, right, I feel very confident in this area. Digital marketing is what I want to zone in on, because I was very aware of the fact that I was coming from a law and media background in DCU, and there would have been a lot of people in that course who would have did a digital marketing degree in their undergrad. So I was like, right, I'm already automatically at a disadvantage here. So I don't want to be spending time on video stuff I know. I'd rather get a return on investment of this course. So I wanted to focus on stuff like SEO, as you said. And it was funny. Felix Kaldal is his name. He was someone I did the course with. Very, very clever guy. He's an entrepreneur now. Very, very clever. He was the one who put together the team I was in for my digital marketing degree. And Felix contacted me, and he had a graphic designer. He had a very, very capable digital marketing specialist, and he had himself as well. He was the entrepreneur. He really had the vision that was driving everything we did. And then he goes, Jason, so you're a video editor. I said, oh God. I was like, I'm back to square one. It was funny. So I was back making videos. And I didn't mind it at all. We actually we launched a business called Sunhubbers, and we created a website for it, for our course. The Sunhubbers was basically providing remote workers with affordable accommodation in tropical locations. So it's very similar business model to Hacker's Paradise, and I guess you could say there's some similarities to a degree with Airbnb. Just it's a similar concept, just that it's basically a community of like-minded people we were creating. Now, obviously, this was just a hypothetical sense we were launching this business. It was just to fulfill the requirements of our degree. But during that time when I made the video, um, I won't get into the details of the video, but basically we came together as a team and said, right, what do you guys want? And it was very theatrical. They wanted like a theatrical video for the commercials. So I said, right, so I should really have a narrator. And I didn't want to use my own voice. Not that there's really anything wrong with my voice, just that I don't think it gives off kind of a Hollywood theatrical effect. So I hired a voice actor off Fiverr. I don't know if you've used Fiverr before, Tom, but I got a Morgan Freeman voice actor who did the video, the narration of the video, and it really, really was tremendous. But I noticed the difference in the video I was creating, and it was that I've already been highly influenced by marketing because I've calls to action in the video. So I'm already, the changes in me as a creator have already taken into effect due to the experience I've had in digital marketing. And along the way of developing Sunhubbers, and this is to answer your question, the area I want to upskill in is web development. And we created the Sunhubbers website on WordPress, but we actually used Elementor as well. I don't know if you're familiar with Elementor.
You put an overlay on WordPress to manage pages and.
Oh my God, it's fantastic. It's a lifesaver. I look at Elementor as it holds your hand throughout the process because it's drag and drop, and you're still developing highly professional websites. So I was able to get some experience there, and now in my spare time, I actually have an Instagram page up and running at the minute. Just kind of a small, kind of private one. It was like a fitness transformation because I've actually lost 25 pounds
Wow.
in the past few months from weightlifting, and dieting, strict dieting. But basically, I created a website based on this, and it's only something for me because I just want to see how to do it and learn it inside and out. So that's why I haven't promoted it or anything, and I probably won't promote it either. But it's just a way I can kind of get used to how it works. So definitely, I think developing a website, Tom, is definitely an area I need to upskill in, and it's something I'm saying to my clients because obviously the way backlinks work, if you're going to create like Google My Business account or something of that nature, where you're a local business and trying to get more exposure, it's always good to have a website and to backlink back and forth, and which will obviously raise your ranking higher. So yeah, Tom, definitely, website development is an area I'm upskilling in currently,
Brilliant.
learning how to become better at.
That's really good, Jace. And looking at the digital industry as a whole, is there anything that excites you that's coming in the future? Maybe something you picked up when you were in America with Damon Dash and that crowd.
Well, yeah, I just want to say I wasn't working with Dame Dash now. I was working with Mike. I was just in Dame Dash's studio, so I don't want to say anything there. There wasn't a relationship there. I just literally passed him and shook his hand, and he was very nice. I would have worked more with Mike, and Mike gave me a more professional kind of outlook on how to deal with people, like networking wise. But in terms of what I can see moving forward, I don't think software wise, what something I can notice, Tom, is that small businesses in Ireland. Now I can't speak much for internationally in other countries, just locally, even in Kildare, small businesses are starting to take notice of the importance of digital marketing. That we need an account online, but we need it to be done properly. And that's something I can see that more and more businesses, whether it be startups or businesses that operate on a smaller level, are going to start going online and looking for digital marketers, because there's a return on investment there, um, for people running this business. They can see the difference it's making. Nearly everyone's online now in some capacity. You might have like an older age group on Meta, or I call it Meta. Sorry, I know everyone. A lot of people still call it Facebook, but I'm doing a dissertation at the minute on Facebook, and because of that, I have to call it Meta because that's how they're rebranded. So if
Yeah,
for anyone who's like, what the hell is he talking about? That's what I mean. But Instagram, all these platforms, you can reach different age groups and different demographics. Of course, whatever works best for your brand. Like I've one brand I'm working with now. Kachita Pellegrini is her name. Evolve for Business, and Kachita is very very smart. She does professional coaching basically for companies, and individuals too. And the thing about Kachita is that Kachita had a page on LinkedIn, which I thought was very, very clever because that fits her audience. You know, the sort of way, whereas if Kachita was to run a channel on LinkedIn, it wouldn't really make that much sense. Oh, sorry, on TikTok. If she was to run a channel on TikTok, it wouldn't really make that much sense because of the age group and the demographic she was looking to target. And I think that small businesses can learn a lot from people like myself or yourself, Tom, with digital marketing backgrounds, who can show them, look, you're good in these areas, but this is where you're going wrong, and this is how I can help you. So I think now that there's more awareness around the importance of digital marketing for companies, and the fact that small businesses are starting to reach people like myself, to help them with this. So you can see definitely a change starting to develop, because I'd say if we would have tried to do this 5 or 10 years ago, maybe before the age of maybe a bit, maybe 12 to 15 would be a better way to put it, before the social media age we now live in, if people wouldn't have been as open to having that conversation.
really well said. Yeah, no, really good point there, Jace. And lastly, we always ask this final question on the show, which is if you could boil up one personality trait that you have yourself, Jason, and you could pass on to others, what would it be?
I think I'll tell you something you probably don't hear a lot of people talking about when you get asked that question. I'll tell you my biggest weakness. And my biggest weakness was when I was in America, I was a fear of failure, I think. That I was afraid of failing. And the problem with that, and this is in all capacities in my life, and the problem with that is that when you're afraid of failing, you're not putting yourself out there entirely. And I think that that's very important when it comes to digital marketing. There's a company in California called Golden Hippo. They're really, they have a really fantastic business model and a term in the sense, a phase to use where you fail first, which is very important because you have to be able to take chances, not only in digital marketing but in life. And you can learn a lot more from a failure than you can from a success. So I think it's important that no matter what capacity, no matter if it's digital marketing, whatever your field you're in, and you want to do something, you really want to do something, just do it. And the worst thing that can happen is that you fail, you pick yourself back up, and maybe you try again or you look at something else. Because when I was doing content creation, there wasn't many content creators in Kildare. And I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, what's he doing? But it was something that I wanted to do, and I wasn't too concerned with what other people thought. And of course, I didn't get the results sometimes I wanted. There was an element of failure there, so I looked at other ways to achieve my goals. And that's how I looked at SEO, and that's how I got into digital marketing. And with California, it was a similar idea. I might not have gotten what I wanted out of the experience, so but I still tried, and that's the important thing. The failure isn't as much in going and trying, it's in not trying at all. And this is the same thing with you, Tom. You wanted to do a digital marketing podcast, and you have to put yourself out there like you did with me in LinkedIn, which is why I'm very impressed with you. But you could have been doing this for a long time and you might not have seen the results you wanted. But the thing is, you tried. And that's the important thing, that you made the effort, you took the chance. And it's great that you're seeing the results. You're a smart guy and you're very good with marketing. But it's really a lesson that a lot of people can take, that if you want to do something, just do it. Don't think too much about what other people think. You have to put yourself out there, because you'll have a life of regret, really, down the line. And it's funny, Tom, me and you we'll mark the date, and I'm sure you'll be number one podcast when it comes to marketing in Ireland by next year. So me and you will pick this conversation back up, because I have a feeling that I'll be in a different position what I'm in now come next year. I won't talk too much about that now, obviously, because there's a lot of things that I'm working on. But we'll have this conversation next year, and I'm sure that the mindsets that me and you have in terms of trying things and putting yourself out there will benefit us big time in the long run. So I hope that a lot of people can apply that same mindset, and just, if there's something you want to do, just do it.
Yeah. I first and foremost, I'm really interested to see how your career pans out, Jace. I can see your motivation there, and fear of failure is such a good answer. So kudos to you there, and thanks for the kind words as well about the show. That's it, Jace. We're done. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. We'll obviously put it out, and anyone listening, reach out to Jason if you want some advice around digital marketing. And thanks so much for being on the show.
No problem, Tom. Thanks for having me. It was a great conversation, and we'll definitely pick her back up next year.